This Monday, the 14th of October, a landmark case will be brought to the High Court when a family in mortgage arrears takes a case against their bank. The couple is representative of many families who are in negative equity, unable to come to an agreement with their lender. They claim they've no other option but to fight back and legally challenge the bank for its part in their alleged downfall. The case is spearheaded by a voluntary organisation, Debtoptions Ireland, which represents 1,000 such cases in this country. I'm joined on the line by founding member of Debtoptions Ireland, Claire Cullinane. Claire, good morning.
Good morning, Pat. Thank you for having me on.
What exactly is this couple and this case alleging?
Okay, it's important to say that there are 1,000 cases have gone in already from people who believe they have a grievance with the bank that the bank hasn't answered. So if we were to play out each one of those 1,000 in the High Court, we could jam up the judicial system for quite some time, and that is not what we're looking for. We're looking for truth. So what we've done is we have taken one scenario, one couple, and that's representative of all of us, worked them through a company, so the company will actually take the case on their behalf. And then they will be representative not only of us, Pat, but what is very important is in our book of evidence, we have evidence and proof that could actually help every solitary mortgage holder and every possible.
Okay, the idea is if you win with this single case, that it will provide legal precedent for others to go in, and therefore banks, knowing they face defeat in the court, would roll over.
We're already in, you see. We've done this the opposite way around. We have 1,000 cases already in there that this information can and will be used on if necessary. But as a representative case, it would actually, precedence, as you say, would work.
Okay,
but
now,
it could work for everyone in Ireland.
Explain the idea of a company doing this, because unless you are legally sound, this could be thrown out on the first day of a hearing.
Absolutely, and that's why I've been working with solicitors and barristers for the last year who've worked behind me and helping me to put this together. If you go in with a single case, and if it is close to any kind of precedence, what normally happens is a bank would be very quick to make you an offer. And people are in such dire straits, no judgment here, they will take that offer. So it's very hard to get precedence in a case that will help the majority or the good of all.
Now, this has been confirmed to me, Claire, by New Beginning. They have told me that any time they come close to getting a good test case in court, the financial institution in question, and there would be many, would settle with the individual or the couple, and the offer will be so good that the couple would be utterly daft to refuse that offer, and so the test case goes by the board. Are you certain that you can bring this test case, that the couple, even through this company vehicle, will not be made an offer that would result in them not being willing to testify when they are asked to take the stand?
Well, you see, the way the company works is that every solitary one of our 1,000 cases is a shareholder, and anyone in Ireland can become a shareholder in this case because it is for the good of everybody. It is the company that will be employing and instructing the solicitor and the barrister, and the couple are more than willing and have already agreed to make sure that they are going to stay with this to the bitter end.
Irrespective of what offer might be made to them by their financial institution. I mean, many people listening would say they're crazy, but if you're happy that they're prepared to do so, well, fair and good. Now,
I don't think they're crazy, Pat. I actually think they're some of the bravest people that I've met in this country so far, because somebody has to do this. Somebody has to dig in and say, no, for the good of all, we're going to stay with this and we're going to get a result that works for everyone.
Now, you have therefore had to state a case. What are you claiming that this financial institution did or failed to do?
Well, without prejudicing the case in any way, I can give you the generalities that we have all gone in under and that this case will go in under as well. And that would be that misrepresentation by the banks, over liquidity of the market, over securitization causing the boom bust, and reckless lending, to name but a few. And I'm saying nothing that I can't stand over and that I know.
Okay, let's take the last one you mentioned, reckless lending. There is no crime of reckless lending in this jurisdiction. Banks can do it. Now, you know, there's been a lot of talk about introducing something someday that will prevent that. So, I mean, without being a High Court judge, I can strike that one out straight away.
Well, you can strike it out on an endorsement of claim, but if we can actually support it with the accounts of the bank, that professionals, accountants and professional financiers made decisions that were absolutely, I, as a housewife, would know better, right, than to make the decisions that were made, then it could actually show that it was part of an all-over conspiracy or an all-over strategy. And that would be very much where we're going.
I mean, I could see issues where to issue a loan would deem to be unwise, even reckless within a bank, which might lead to penalties for an individual loan manager within a bank. But unless they were instructed from on high, it might be hard to make that stick elsewhere. But let's look at the other things. Misrepresentation.
Yes.
How are you claiming that the bank misrepresented itself in any way?
You see, there are so many ways that they've misrepresented themselves. It's right down to the accounting here, Pat. And what we have is we have the instruments going back years. So we can actually prove that a lot of what we've been told is not accurate. Now, what we've been told is damning enough. To hear that financial experts have literally bankrupted every bank in this country and have bankrupted the country after that, that's damning enough.
Is it basically, and you can take the securitization issue and the liquidity in the marketplace and so on, are you suggesting that they were lending to people when, in effect, if they had done prudent banking, they would have to account themselves to be, for example, insolvent? And you cannot trade while you're insolvent. Is that part of your argument?
Well, it could be part of our argument, and certainly there is enough evidence in the media and in the press that states that that is quite possible. But there are other elements within this. I mean,
at the end, any lending they were doing, clearly, I mean, we know now that banks were insolvent. They claimed they had a liquidity problem. We know now there was an insolvency problem. That was at the end. But at the height of the boom, they could argue they were not insolvent. There was no sign of a collapse. Anyway, these are the details of the case that will be played out in court if you get into that arena. Is there a parallel in your case with the claims being made by Sean Quinn that banks lent for a purpose which was inappropriate, if not illegal?
Absolutely. If you look at the history of the banking cycle, it has a 30-year cycle. And when I myself started to investigate this, I went to a friend, a bank manager up the country, and I asked the question, what exactly is going on? And he laughed into my face and said, this happens every 30 years. I said, what do you mean? He said, if people ended up owning their properties after their career, so every 30 years, the country would be gone, it would be owned by the people, and the banks would have nothing to sell. So he said, what we do every 30 years is we flood the market, pull the rug out from under people because the new crop is available.
Yeah, but that's a nice kind of, it's a nice folktale, but it's not compelling evidence in any court of law.
Unless you can prove it, Pat. And with what we've got, we believe that we can actually prove every word that I'm saying.
Well, I tell you, the prospect even of this being ventilated in court will be music to the ears of many people. We'll be getting chapter and verse on Monday, isn't that so?
Certainly, we can give you the people's names of the case and all the rest of it on Monday, and would be delighted to do so. But this should be a ray of hope and a ray of light for the people of Ireland to finally have a time for truth. All
right. Claire Cullinane, founding member of Debtoptions Ireland, thank you very much for joining us on the programme.
Thank you so much, Pat.